Hello everyone, we've seen how to work with numbers and text prior to now. In today's class, we will be talking about working with date. It's not in all situations that programming tasks will require you to work with numbers and text alone. There are instances when you have to deal with date as part of your task as programmers. So I plan to take us through the fundamentals of working with dates and time. And I hope by the end of the 3 video recordings, we'll have got the essential messages that we need to be able to handle date when required. So let's cut through to our programming screen, which is this. I have a folder here for date, and that's where we'll keep 1 or 2 codes that we may be writing. I'll start by clicking on this icon here. A different approach. Prior to now, we were creating a Python file from the top left corner here. This time around, because I'll be executing a series of sub blocks of codes, I want to use Jupyter Notebook within VS Code. So when I click on this icon, new file, it puts up this dialog box for me. I select Jupyter Notebook, and then it gives me a notebook. So this is a notebook in which I'm going to be able to put many of the codes that I need, and then I'll walk you through the execution procedure. Now, for us to work with date, we need to first import date time. We can just leave it as date time, but for ease of typing, you can say import date time as DT so that you won't be typing date time all of the time you need to execute anything relating to date time. So to run this command, I can simply click on this arrow on this side, and it tells me, okay, Ibrahim, you want to run this import statement. Which of the Python interpreters do you want me to use? I have 2 interpreters. I have the base one, which is 3.11.7, and I have version 3.12.4. I can choose any of the 2. So let me pick the base one. I pray it works for me. So it's connecting to the kernel. Once the connection is done, this statement is going to be executed. If it doesn't work, then I'll connect to the second one. Yeah, fine. We're lucky. It works. And that's why we have this success symbol in here. So with that done, the bulk of our work is going to be a lot easy. So let's go by clicking. I moused over the lower part of this cell. This is a cell. And then there are 2 things I can do. I can create another cell in which I can write code, or I put a markdown where I can put, stories or comments. So I'll put my comment a conventional way using this notation. How do we get the element for now? Okay, so to do that, I'll say dt.datetime.now. When I execute this, just go down there and say display now. When I execute this, it's going to give me today's date and the current time. So you can see the year is 2024, the month is September, the day is 27th. It's 11 o'clock, 11 minutes, 30 seconds, and this is the microsecond. So these are the elements of now that this simple construct here has given us. So if you are interested in now focusing on the specifics of the date time element which are combined here, then you can just go over the cell, create another cell, click on the code, and I can go ahead and say, okay, I would like to see now dot day. Give me the day component of now. If I run this, it goes and it says, oh, no, that's not possible. This is what you should have. It's 27th day of the month. If I am interested in the month, I can go in there and say now dot month. If I run that cell, it gives me the 9th month of the year. I can create another cell and say now dot year. This should give me 2024, and that's correct. So that's the period covered. That's the year element of the now variable that we got initially. If you are interested in the time element, it's possible for you to go in there and say now dot hour. It will tell you the hour of the day. It's 23 hours. That's equivalent to 11 p.m. for those who are using that notation. If you are interested in the minute, you can put now dot minute and you run that cell. It gives you 11th minute. Coincidentally, that was the time we executed that code. Then you can do now dot second. It will give you the precise second when that code was executed. It was the 30th second. And if you are interested in the microsecond, you can equally do it. And you press that sign, it tells you that's the microsecond when that time came about. But if all you are interested in is just the date component, you can come in here and say now dot date. This should give you the date element of now. It's not going to give you date and time, rather it gives you just the date. So this is the year first, followed by the month, followed by the day. However, if your target is just the time, you don't need to put date, rather you just say now dot time. And then if you execute this, it will give you the specific time that corresponds to when that initial variable now was created, and that was at 11:30 seconds, then this microsecond. Now the same way we split all of these components, the day, the month, the year, the minute, the hour, the second and microsecond, into their individual element, it's also possible for us to do some other advanced formatting if you do not use this approach. Now there is a wide documentation on how this can be done, but I'll just try to walk us through some of the specifics in here. For instance, if you are interested in the weekday for any given date, it's possible for me to say now dot strf time, and I'll put a pre-formatted standard. This you need to look up on Google. I'm not, bringing this from my memory. These are documented, format that you can make use of, and you just need to read up. If I execute this, it goes around and then I can't see any results. So how about if I say print this on the screen? I'd like to see it. So it goes, I still can't see any results. So let's do this. We can put x here as our variable, and then we will display x when it is executed. So it tells me today is FRI. Now that shows me the date of, or the day of the week that today's date corresponds to, but that's in the short format. What if I need it in the full format? That will be Friday, not FRI. I only simply need to change this small a to capital A. I'll remove the small a that is there, and when I execute that, I should see Friday. So that's the way you can format your date time element to show you the day of the week, either in the short format or in the long format, depending on what you want. Now, there are a number of other things we can do with it. For instance, it's possible for us to say, let's extract the day of month from our date variable or the now element. There are a number of ways of doing this. One, I can just put D and remove the A that was there. if I run this, of course, 27 is the result I am going to get. That one is a no-brainer. Now, if I want to know the day of year that today's date corresponds to, I do a copy, I paste that, but the format won't be small d anymore. Rather, it's going to be letter J. If I run this, it will tell me today is the 271st day of the year. Of course, the year has 366 because it's a leap year. Now, apart from this, it's also possible for us to look at that same element and say, let us see the week of month that this date corresponds to. And in that case, you change the percentage D to percentage W, and that should be, surprisingly, the 5th week in September. So that means September has gone past the typical 4-week, timeline that most months have. There are a number of other things that you can get from the format string of the now variable. For instance, if you are interested in just the month, just like we've done before, it's possible for me to change D to M, and then it will give me the month in numeric format. So you can see it when September, it shows me 09. That's not the only option that you have. We can equally do that same month result by changing the format from M to B, lowercase b, and it shows us the month of the year in short format, SEP format. But if you are interested in seeing the month as full month written as September, then it won't be small b anymore. Rather, it will be capital B. If you execute this, it should give us September, which is what we had in mind. So that works pretty well for us. If we're interested in the year, previously we used the now.year, but this time around, if you use this notation, it won't be percentage B, rather it will be percentage capital Y, and it should give us 2024. These are ways in which you can extract date related element from your variable. But beyond that, you can also extract time related element from your variable. For instance, if I want to extract the hour, I simply change the format to percentage H. And if I execute this, I should have my hour as 23. And if I'm interested in the minute, I can execute a similar code. I quickly change this, and then the format here is going to be capital I. That should be the 11th minute. Yep, it gives us the result. And if we're interested in the second, I have this copied into memory, so I'm simply pasting it to ease the code editing. Then second format is going to be percentage capital S, and that should give us 30 seconds. So that works pretty well for us. And if you're interested in whether the time is in PM or AM format, you can equally have this displayed for you. What you just do is to adjust the format to percentage P, and I expect this to display PM for us. This is the way in which we can play around at the preliminary level with our date time element. So in this series of codes, we have gone through importing the intelligence that you need here, and I shortened it by giving it an alias of DT, and then we created a variable called now and instantiated this by getting the now element of our date time, which gave us today's date and time, and then we were able to split the variable across all its day and time dimension. I hope you find this very interesting. I see you in the next demo.